Hey guys, it's Maynard. I grabbed Mike Bradley, who is our energy equity strategist, and Matt Portillo, co-head of research, focuses on upstream but watches the whole landscape. We're going to try to give you 5 minutes of review of the last 2 days and where we are and what could be happening. Mike, there's a rumor Russia and Saudi are meeting.
Yep.
You think anything happens? I mean, I'm glad they're meeting.
Yeah, it's good that they're meeting. They're talking. They weren't talking, and people are hopeful that they're going to get $1.5 million cut, which was a previous proposed cut. We're a little bit skeptical, but they are talking, and that's a good thing. And that rallied crude today.
And if they don't cut a deal now, the other theory, I guess, might be there's a June OPEC meeting.
Yeah.
You get a lot of pain, and then maybe they work it out.
It seems to us that that's probably you're going to probably put barrels in the water. Saudi's going to put barrels in the water. They're going to hit the market. They'll come back in June for their regular OPEC meeting. They'll come to a cut, and that'll basically take U.S. production down. That'll send a message to Russia, and it'll make Saudi happy.
So, Matt, a lot of announcements coming out of E&Ps. What would you say about the pace and the strength of some of those messages?
Yeah, I mean, I think investor feedback around that has been quite strong. The industry this go-around has been very proactive about addressing budgets, and quite frankly, I think are giving investors confidence that from a macro standpoint, things might clean up over the next year or two, fundamentally where supply and demand actually starts to look a lot better in 2022.
And one thing you've been talking about, too, is midstream. Investors have been noticing the leverage there, thinking about the dividend. What would you say about that space?
Yeah, thematically, this has been a big topic for our midstream team, and I think it's really come into focus here as commodity prices have come down. Big picture, what I think investors are looking for is midstream companies that start to address their leverage. The drop in the commodity price and I think the drop in the stocks has given management teams a window here to get more aggressive with cutting dividends and actually paying down debt going forward, where there's a bit more of a balance between leverage and dividend payout ratios.
Mike, you've been watching the debt markets closely too. Funding markets, you can't always believe what you see on the screen. Are you seeing anything in those markets that's of interest?
Yeah, the debt markets still seem a little tight to us. I mean, they were modestly better today. Yesterday was terrible, but they do seem like there's just not a lot of liquidity at this point in time, and so we're just going to have to see how it plays out over the next couple weeks.
And the news about, Trump was considering, payroll taxes. There's been rumors of tariffs. There's clearly some kind of communication going on with the industry from Washington at some level. Any hope that Washington does something thoughtful or useful or pro-industry right now?
It doesn't seem to me that anything's really going to come out, but they've got to look like they're doing something. And so they're throwing stuff against the wall. They're talking about, import tariffs. They're talking about giving money to the industry. I don't know what comes about, but they got to look like they're doing something. And that's at least it looks like there's some chatter on that right now.
I mean, do you think that Trump has been oddly kind of quiet for a guy who tweets and, makes a lot of noise? He doesn't seem like he's been that loud.
This has happened so quickly. I think it's taken the industry by surprise. It's also taken the administration by surprise. And so they are acting right now. I don't think they have any real tangible goals, but they've got to see.
And you said between the two, you think Russia is just a little more edgy about taking out shale and Saudi's trying to be the mature one. I'm putting words in your mouth.
No. I think Russia is definitely has it out for U.S. shale. Saudi can live with it. So that's where this comes up.
So one thing, Matt, you've been talking about, as have some others, the potential that this is a natural gas healing that takes place here. What's the latest on that thinking?
Yeah, I think it's potentially a big fundamental shift in the 2021 outlook for us. The last 3 to 4 years have been unfortunately fairly bearish from a macro backdrop standpoint, primarily because associated gas has really been able to satiate demand. And below $40 a barrel, there's a good chance that associated gas production starts to roll in 2021. That in combination with a slowdown in gas-directed drilling across the legacy basins actually starts to put the market into a position where we could be fundamentally undersupplied and we could see some upward bias to the forward curve.
So as we wrap up, let's just take 30 more seconds. 2 days of just absolutes of roller coaster, terrible, painful. Are we seeing real interest in coming back into this space because things have gotten so cheap, or is it too early?
Not really people coming in on valuation at this point just because it's way too volatile. People don't want to make but there is definitely some interest. They're just not acting yet on that interest.
And I think I'd agree with that. Really the big picture here is that as OPEC has pushed volumes back into the market or potentially will, the excess supply that was in the system that's always been a big overhang may actually finally be addressed, and then you could actually start to set up for a real fundamental rally in crude oil over the next few years that long-only investors can get behind. So as painful as this is, it may actually be the final correction on the commodity side that gets investors behind the space again.
Let's end on that. Thank you for all you guys are doing and for your time. And hang in there, everybody. If we come up with other good things we think you need to know, we'll definitely get it to you. Thanks.